Get into it. Sold Not For Sale podcast. Coach Colin here. We got Joe Rogan and a guest who is telling the American people that the country is owned by you and that you need to speak out. And I just love the message in this clip. You know, usually I do these full breakdowns, but there's not much to break down here. There's just a message that really needs to be heard. Let's get into it.
Play golf and somebody else comes to the set digitally. Okay.
Do you think that? Expressing your conservative viewpoints and doing this film on Reagan, do you think this ultimately has the potential to hurt your career?
I don't care anymore. You know, there was time that I was kind of concerned to kind of like speak my mind or speak up, but in the last couple of years, that I feel it's really important that we do, all of us, speak up. In this election, everybody's got to choose a side, and we have to, in order to have this exchange of ideas and dialogue, we have to speak up. And so, like I said, they when I was doing Reagan, there was a story that came out that I was taking money from the CDC, $400,000, you know, the Trump administration had arranged so I could do a commercial on for the vaccine that was coming out, but none of which was true. But, you know, it's like my son even called me like freaking out, you know, because it was just like I was going to get canceled over this stuff because I was taking, I guess, taxpayer money from the CDC, you know, making money off this. But none of it was true.
And where did it come from? Did they find the source?
I really have no idea. It's something that's circulated in social media, so I really don't know. But that, and I remember when when COVID first started, I think it was Politico that I did a phone conversation with, because I was involved with this podcast company that we were promoting, and it just happened to be COVID, and the guy asked me what I thought about the way Trump was handling the COVID, and I said, well, at least he's there every day. You know, he's there every day trying to do something. And I think when it comes to things like this, we need to get behind our president as a whole, you know, to come together to fight this thing, just like Franklin Roosevelt getting behind, you know, during World War at the start of World War II in order to. Well, anyway, that became that I was a, you know, right-wing Trumpster, and supposedly in danger of getting canceled over that. And then I also gave a speech about Reagan to the group in Florida after we'd made the movie, and I think there were two people that were January 6th. People just happened to be there, and by association, you know, that was going to be, my agents called me like freaking out over that. They were like, it was going to be canceled. It was like being told to, you know, just be quiet and let things go by, you know. And no, I just can't. I'm not a very good rule follower to begin with, you know. It's just it's one of those faults I've had. But
good for you.
Yeah, but
I think that kind of makes you a good actor too.
Well,
it's a rebellious nature.
Yeah, well, maybe that's debatable, but it's there's a lot of rebellious people I know who are really bad actors. But
touche. Yeah, there's a lot of that.
Yeah. But I don't know. I think we all have kind of an obligation, you want to call it, or a duty, or whatever.
Yeah.
We're citizens of America. We're citizens of the United States. The country is ours. It's the people of the United States who are supposed to run things.
Right.
And so we have to speak out. I hated when actors spoke out about politics. I remember the days like Richard Dreyfuss or, you know, or whoever would, you know, talk shows, and it always just sounded like so stupid because, of course, they didn't know anything. But so what little I know, I do have to speak out about. And I'm sorry, Richard, for saying that about you.
He's very vocal now.
Yeah, he always has been. And But I just, if they have the right to go on TV and talk about how, I've seen several actors go on there and talk about how Biden is like, I saw him, he was in great shape, and well, then I have the right to go on and talk about that I'm voting for Trump because people might call him an asshole, but he's my asshole.
Yeah. Well, we don't have the best choices today. And it's interesting that we put so much weight on famous people. We put so much weight on their opinion and perspectives on things. We want a guy like George Clooney to be out there endorsing Kamala Harris and talking about the threat to democracy that is Donald Trump and all that.
Right.
Because
he does it so well in the movies. You notice Tom Hanks has been very silent.
Yeah.
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 And I don't blame him. It's we do. I also think that presidents are a reflection of who we are as a people and what our culture has become. You can go back, like Reagan reflected his times. He probably couldn't get elected today because he'd come off like Kemp. They're just kind of solid. But along comes Trump. Trump swears. It's okay. Over time to say whatever you want on TV. Before that with cable news, and so now you can say it. But it took somebody like Trump to actually say it.
Yeah, he was really the first one that opened up that door.
Yeah,
remember that speech that he gave about how you deal with China? You don't say we're going to tax you 20%, and then you say, "Listen, motherfucker."
Yeah,
and everybody's like, "Whoa!" Yeah, I loved it. I was like,
"Yeah, me too." It's
go.
like finally. Plain speaking, just like you said it before.
Like an actual human being.
Yeah.
Because that's how actual human beings talk about
Respond.
something. When
that's what the emotions it brings up in you.
Yeah.
And that's what you feel. I mean, I guess Obama was the first one to really, truly use social media, in a way, because he understood it. And so did Trump. I mean, he was tweeting. It's probably why the polls didn't really reflect what was going on, because people were just reading his tweets.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the tweets are so ridiculous. He can't help himself.
Yeah.
He's got to insult people and go after people, and that's how he made his career. I mean, that was him.
Yeah.
In the
starting
public
with
eye.
Rosie O'Donnell.
Yeah.
I remember in that feud that that was like so ridiculous back then.
Leave that poor lady alone.
I do cringe sometimes at stuff, but I know where he is at the bottom of it, that he really does care about the American people, and he really loves this country, and he's really smart, and he knows how to deal with foreign policy-wise, which is a huge thing with me, because it has an effect on everything else in our culture, our economy, just the way we feel inside.
Yeah.
And I think he's best for that. I just hope I'd like to see him focus more on the issues.
Yes.
And be very disciplined about doing that, because when he goes off that, they love that.
Yeah.
Any chance that they can make it personal, they love that.
That's very true. Very, very true. This guy sums it up, man. This guy sums it up. I love that. I love here, because he's 70. I love hearing older guys talk about the America that once was, and still have those values, and are putting them into, JRE platform where a bunch of young people are going to hear it, because that doesn't happen on the Democratic side. The Democratic side, they really do they're like, forget history. Forget history. Forget about all history. Forget about it. Let's just move forward, and let's just be real inclusive. It's like, but I need the part of the history where you started the KKK, and they're like, no. You don't need that. No. We push that aside. It's like, but it's right there. You used to attack black Republicans and white Republicans. No. Push that aside. Don't worry. No, don't worry about that part of history. Don't worry. I really like when guys like this are willing to speak up. And funny enough, what sparked it? The left. Thanks to the left, this guy got ignited as a patriot. Because when you really look at what he said He said we have to get behind our president. That's such a middle of the road thing to say. That's not an out there thing to think. We should get behind our. You can say that about any president. We should, whoever the president is, you got to support the president. Hope he makes the right decisions. And the left was like, "Oh, you're a Nazi. Oh, you didn't tell us you were a Nazi." It's incredible. Absolutely incredible. I said I wasn't going to get to any clips, but I am going to try and find that one clip they were talking about, because why wouldn't I try and find that clip of Trump? Sometimes it's nice to just see an older Trump clip. How do I do this? Trump telling China, listen, mother effers. I'm not writing effers, okay? Believe me.
Deny.
Let's see if he actually says it in this clip here. I'm telling you, if you're not using X as a search engine, you are messing up.
Never been more wrong than when he denied the virus and where it came from. The time has come for America and the world to demand reparations and accountability from the Communist Party of China. We should all declare within one unified voice that China must pay. They must pay.
That's not it. It's not it. Is this it?
Meeting President Xi, and we've known each other for as long as I'm president. And many of you were at the event in China a year ago when I've never seen anything like it. It was beautiful. We talked about it. We had dinner last night, President Xi and a number of us. And it was something really incredible. In Beijing, the red carpet was rolled out for all of us, for this country, for our country. And we had a great meeting. And at least the time being, we're not going to be lifting tariffs. We're not doing that. We're going to work with China on where we left off to see if we can make a deal. China is going to start, they're going to be consulting with us, and they're going to start spending money even during the negotiation to our farmers, our great farmers in the Midwest.
So this isn't it either, but this is a little bit about what Dennis was talking about. Trump actually talking about policy, because that is the most important thing. And when he talks about policy, oh my God, I gotta blow my nose. When he talks about policy, a lot of people tend to miss it. It's usually, not even usually, every time, it's so intelligent, the things he has to say about this type of stuff. But man, even X can't find the clip. That's a clip that I really want to see. Well, what if I just write Trump listen MFers? Yeah. This is how research works, people. Just so you know. Nah, doesn't come up. Is this it? Said this a few days ago. It's definitely. Nah. I'm not finding it. Anyway, just to move on to what Richard was talking about. Celebs speaking out. Now, celebrities speaking out, I have always found that to be cringy. I've always found it to be lacking integrity, zero integrity. But here's the thing. When I look at Dennis and what he's doing, and I look at Robert De Niro, I see two very different things. Okay, and I'm able to see past my bias of being a Trump supporter and being someone who's conservative. I can see past that. The thing about it is, when Robert De Niro does what he does, he works in Hollywood, he lives in Hollywood, and he's saying a very embraced sentiment by all of Hollywood when he says, screw Trump, and he's this and he's that. But for Dennis, he works in Hollywood, has worked in Hollywood for a very long time, just like De Niro. When he says what he says, just what we just saw him say right now, he gets a hard time in Hollywood. He could have his agency drop him. He misses out on millions of dollars. Not to mention that Robert De Niro admitted that he was working with the campaign, which means that he's getting paid. He said he's working with the Biden-Harris campaign. Maybe not Kamala now, but he was working for Biden. He was getting paid. There's not enough money that you could pay Dennis Quaid to say this type of stuff. There's just not enough. Your agency could get rid of you. You're missing out on movie deals. It's millions and millions of dollars. They would have to pay him like $20 million. And he hasn't even said that much. He's gone on Piers Morgan, Joe Rogan now. He's gone on a few different places. And all he says is, he's an a-hole, but he's my a-hole. I like the guy. You got to stand up. You got to talk about your president. He's not saying anything super radical. It just seems radical now because the far left has taken things so far left that when somebody just says, this country is actually owned by you, it's like, this guy's a white Christian nationalist. You can't trust him. Guy probably has a MAGA tattoo and a swastika tattoo. Then when he talks about the reflection, Trump being a reflection, I definitely think Trump is a reflection of what America is right now. And it's not a bad reflection, right? Because the president is a reflection. Biden was a reflection. America was in the dark on who was president, on what he was actually like, on what he was actually doing. He wasn't handling things well. You can see the reflection of everything. There's wars going on. China and Russia are embracing each other. Saudi Arabia has pulled out of certain deals. You can see the reflection. Biden is not a good reflection. He is a weak, poor reflection of the country. And then when you look at the country, the porous border, the overdoses, all these things, the chaos, the lack of law and order, you're like, oh, he is the exact reflection of what's going on. And then you look at Trump. Trump is a reflection of what everybody actually wants for the country. There's just this large brainwashing by the media to make people think it's not what they want, and they actually want something radically different. I mean, have you heard Kamala Harris's economic plan? Have you heard it? It's price gouging. I was going to say price gauging because that's what she said. It's price gouging. Price controls. This is what Venezuela did in 2014. They became a failed nation by 2016. Inflation went up 800%. She's proposing the same thing. Cuba tried this. Every single place that is socialist or communist tried what she is proposing right now. And for some reason, everybody's just like, yeah, strong sister, yeah. It's like, are you insane? Do you not know about the world? How this works? What's going to happen? Man, I get passionate about that one. I was looking into it yesterday. Venezuela. I was looking into, when they actually announced it. Maduro, I believe his name is Nicolas Maduro, dictator. I was looking into what he proposed. Then he started doing the whole thing that everybody does. He's like, oh, the only reason it's not working is because there's people who are withholding things. And if they would just give us more, we'd be fine. But they're withholding it to sabotage my plans. Oh my gosh. Cuba did the same thing. I think even Pakistan tried something of this nature before. It's so crazy. So crazy. And then you have to think, what's going to happen if and Kamala Harris is going to release everyone from the detention. Everybody who's here illegally, that's in any kind of detention space, she's going to release them all just into the country. It's so crazy that nobody's like, that there's not masses of people. I mean, masses of people who are on the left who are like, oh, this is not good. But people are just like, socialism, yeah, help everybody. It's so crazy. And anybody who's communist, they're like, well, I mean, everything we've seen everywhere is not real communism. I'm sure Kamala Harris will have it all sorted out for us. What? It's so crazy. And then what they did in Venezuela is it went past food, and then they started proposing controls on everything. And that's when everything got real off the rails. It was terrible. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. You have to look into it. I got off topic there. I'm sorry. But you got to go listen to what she has to say. She wants to put forth these controls, and it's the worst. Again, and I really have to do a video on Dave Smith and his ignorant statements about Kamala Harris not being a Marxist, Tim Walsh or Kamala not being a socialist, not really putting in socialism. She's just using socialism language, and that's not the same thing. It's so asinine what he has to say. It's so ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But you can actually see what she's doing in the world. That's why I show you clips about, what's happening in the UK. Because if you hear about hate speech laws popping up in America, well, that's what it looks like at the end of the day. You look at Scotland and Ireland, that's what it looks like when you allow massive amounts of people from a different place to just come into your country. Go look at the UK right now. Look at Ireland. Look at Canada. Look at all the places. That's what it leads to. Vote accordingly. It's like, it's okay. It's Trump. It's fine. It's fine that it's Trump. It's okay. Just let it be Trump. Who cares? There'll be another one in 4 years, and you can, but when it's between the guy who just wants law and order and wants police to be able to do their job and wants people to, and wants to give tax breaks to billionaires and corporations to incentivize them to bring their places from other nations so they more jobs. No one's making this connection. I shouldn't say no one. There's a bunch of people. There's a bunch of people making this connection. But no one on the left. Everyone on the left's just like, but Trump is a Nazi, right? We're fighting the Nazis. We're fighting the Nazis, right? So this person who's been installed and we didn't vote for, that person's going to save us. Strong black sister. And yeah, she's Indian too and Asian as well. Whatever she needs to be. She's an independent woman. It's like, are you out of your mind? Sorry, I'm going on a rant here. I'm going on a rant. And then I'll just end it off with Joe Rogan saying that we don't have the best choices. Hey, man, you're wrong. We have a really good choice. Trump is actually a really good choice. And it's so funny because Joe is 50. I believe he just turned 57. 57 or 58. This is the best. Trump is the best president he's had. This is the best president you've had in your lifetime. He's better than Clinton. He's better than George Bush. He's better than George Bush Jr. He's better than Obama. He's the best of our lifetime. Actually, the best experience dealing with foreign leaders, has the best experience dealing with economies, has the best experience going bankrupt to the tune of billions and making it all back. He has the best experience meeting with people, making deals. There's no one who has better experience than this guy. No one in our lifetime that we've had as a sitting president has been better than this guy. And people are still sitting around with that statement that Joe said. It said, oh, well, it's just, both sides. The choices aren't good right now. I don't know. Old people, I don't know. Are you out of your mind? I don't know why I keep saying it. I don't know why people keep deflecting to that. And what Dennis Quaid said was perfect. And I'm glad he said it to someone like Joe. He's like, in this election, you have to pick sides. You don't have to pick up pitchforks and torches and all sorts of violent imagery like that, but you do have to pick a side. And you do have to think about where you want the country to be and what you want it to look like. You do have to do that part. And it should be very clear. It shouldn't be about skin color. And honestly, it shouldn't be about age. It should be about who is putting the best positions forward that will help America. Not be kind to the rest of the world. Not to, oh man, well, what about the people separated from their children? Oh, what about the cages? Oh. I want to swear so bad. F all that. What is going to be best for the citizens in America today and in the next 4 years? That's what it's about. And right now, in this election, we actually do have the best choice. Funny enough, we have the person who's anti-war. We have the person who is wants to secure the border. We have the person who wants to get jobs back to America. We have the person who wants to bring back the automotive industry. We have the person who doesn't want to embrace mandates for electric cars nationwide. We have the person who wants to leave a lot of things in each state's hands so there can be more choice there. We have a person who is not radical in any sense and just wants people to be safe. That actually is the best choice. I'm ranting. It's not going to stop. Anyways, guys, let me wrap it up. Like, subscribe, turn on the notifications. Helps the channel tremendously. Other than that, I'm out. I'm pissed.